Welcome to the first stop on our virtual heritage walk. You may find it helpful to watch the introduction video first to understand more about the formation of the lake and the area. Behind us is Granny's Bay and the coastal path to Lytham via Church Scar. The lake is situated along the estuary of the River Ribble, which is of special scientific interest and of great importance to migrating birds which flock here to feed in the spring and autumn. The path we follow alongside the lake, westward towards the main lake buildings, was, before 1893, the landward side of the inlet from the estuary. Seawater would flood into it twice each day with the tide. A natural shingle bank, known locally as a stanner, separated the inlet from the estuary, which protected the inlet and the huge sand dunes that form the coastal strip towards St Anne's. Water from the marshes drained into this inlet, so it was always part full. The Stanner Bank is to our left, and our starting point is where the inlet was closed in 1893. The work was completed by Thomas Riley's company, a Fleetwood-based business with extensive experience of building work in the area. In 1892, Thomas Riley leased the land that was to become Fairhaven from the Clifton estate with the intention of creating a community based around a lake that would attract the middle classes to build homes on the land that the company would lease to them. Thousands of tons of sand and pebbles were excavated, dunes were removed, and the unused sand taken away by a light railway, specially laid from a branch line joining the main line from Lytham to Blackpool at Ansdell. Much of this sand was used as building materials in Fairhaven and in St Anne's, some of it for the characteristic houses that can be seen in St Anne's that are known locally as Porritt houses after the company that built them. Continuing to walk along the lakeside, we can see ahead the RSPB building, which was the first boathouse to be built by the lake. The RSPB took over the use of this historic building in 1996. Thomas Riley intended the lake to provide leisure facilities for Fairhaven residents. Boating was central to this idea, and so one of the first buildings by the lake was the 1901 Pagoda Boathouse. This is the most iconic of the lake buildings, originally said to be designed in the Swiss style, although it looks much more pagoda-like. Designed by St Anne's architects Herbert and Walter Wade, the building was completed in 1901 with a wooden frame and a slate roof. The left-hand side, facing the lake, was occupied by the boats and used for maintenance, while the right-hand side had the boatman's accommodation, which came with the job. Look at the old photograph of the boathouse. Notice that the left-hand side is a shed, while the right-hand side has a hedge in front of it and windows and a door. The first boatman was Richard Parr, whose assistant was named Johnny Cartmel, and both can be seen in these old photographs. In 1902, 12 new boats were bought to expand the fleet, and the landing stage widened and lengthened. By 1903, more boats were bought, and there were about 40 available for hire, a mix of skiffs, rowing boats and sailing boats. Boating was popular and drew in residents and visitors from all around Lancashire. However, boating was not allowed on Sundays, following the strong non-conformist beliefs of the then company directors. In 1910, this decision was reversed, and Dick Parr received a bonus of £5 for working on Sundays, with Johnny Cartmel receiving £3. When war was declared in 1914, income from the boat hire, which had been an important source of revenue, fell. It quickly recovered to record levels, however, as a result of workers in the munitions and cotton industries flocking to the Fylde coast on day trips, afforded from their wartime incomes. In 1919, Dick Parr resigned from his post and was replaced by a Fleetwood man, William Rayworth. He was subsequently succeeded by Norman Burnson in 1922. Norman Burnson was arguably the most influential of the boat managers, or lake managers as they became known. Mr. Burnson built sailing boats in the boathouse and in 1925 introduced the first motor launch, the Fairhaven, built at Freckleton Boatyard for a cost of £300. It carried visitors around the lake for a fare of fourpence. That's 4 old pence. This proved a popular attraction for older visitors and those with young children, making £120 in the first 4 weeks of service in August 1925. Norman Burnson served as a lake manager until 1955, when he retired, and he was succeeded by Mr. George Jones, who further expanded the range of water-based activities on the lake by introducing powerboats, water skiing, and building a new motor launch, My Fair Lady, in 1959, to replace the previous launch, Fairhaven, which by now had fallen into disrepair. George Jones also changed the name above the steps leading down from the inner promenade to the RSPB. He changed it to Lake Fairhaven. Now let's walk to our left along the landing stage to the next impressive building, the Isaac Dixon Boathouse. In 1920, 20 boats were bought second-hand from Trafford Park, also several new skiffs. The total fleet now counted more than 70 boats, bringing a very welcome £1,660 income in 1920. The dilapidated wooden boat sheds that had been built needed replacement, so the Fairhaven Estate Company commissioned a brand new construction from a company with new ideas in Liverpool, Isaac Dixon and Company. Isaac Dixon Company specialised in steel frame buildings, roofs, bridges, and in 1920 especially garages for the increasingly popular motor car. The cost was £1,260, and St Anne's Town Council approved the plan on December the 28th, 1921. The building was erected in time for the start of the 1922 boating season. From here we now move along the lake, looking left towards the Stanner Bank and the new sea defences, to the Fairhaven Lake Cafe for the second stage of our walk.